Hello, welcome to Photoshop Quicklabs. In today's video, we are going to take a look at further refining your selections. For this video, we will be using Adobe Photoshop 2025, and we will also be in the workspace Essentials. We did give a shout out to our photographer, so let's do it one more time. Cindy Hansen took this photograph, and I was able to download this from Unsplash. In the last video, we took a look at two tools, the Object Selection tool and the Quick Selection tool, and both do a great job at selecting either your object in complex photos or big areas in less complex photos. Once you have an area that you would like to have selected, you simply click on it. But sometimes there's some small minor issues. Usually it's hair, whether it's fur from an animal or whether it's hair that someone's, you have a portrait. Hair is always going to be the most problematic. It could also be grass or leaves or things like that. But to refine our selection, we would go and use the Select and Mask feature in our Selection Tools menu. And this can be found on both the Quick Selection tool and the Object Selection tool. When we click into the Select Mask, we get a preview of our selection with an overlay. And that's usually by default. There are a bunch of different views that you can go through depending on your image and what makes it look better for you. We have two ways to refine our selection, and that is color aware or object aware. Color aware is going to look at the surrounding pixels and the colors of those pixels and make determinations of what needs to be included in your selection. Whereas object aware is going to be more aware of the object that you have and not much outside of it. We do have edge detection is our first slider here that we can change. Edge detection is looking at the pixels surrounding your edge. So once we pull the radius out, it'll look at those pixels surrounding your edge. If we put on Smart Radius or enable Smart Radius, it's going to kind of do it in a more strategic, sporadic way. And although that sounds like it's not going to be better, it actually makes things look more organic in terms of your refining your selection. Smoothing, so if we zoom into this end here of our deer where we have all the hairs, as you can see, there's a lot of the little hairs are missing, so that's something that we will want to work on. But first we'll talk about smoothing. So if I pull on this, what Photoshop does is it kind of smooths out those jagged edges. You saw it like kind of update right now, and that's really great for like selections that have like really jagged edges, but it can also work against you because as you can see here, when I want the hair, it's kind of smoothing it out. So I'm getting like this sharp line when there shouldn't be a sharp line because there's fur that we definitely need to bring back. So I will bring that down again. And then feathering. So if we feather the edges, it's definitely going to give us a ghosted effect towards the edge. And as you can see, it starts to pick up that outer pixels and introduces colors that really shouldn't be in our selection. So feathering is something that I really don't touch unless there's an absolute need. Contrast makes the selected edges very sharp. So if you start pulling on the contrast, then it's going to make your edges very sharp. And then shifting the edge, we can shift our edge outwards if we want to pick up more of the selection, or we can shift our edge inwards if we want to sometimes get rid of a little bit of color casting. As we see down here in the fur and things of the steer, we do get a lot of color casting from the grass, but there's not much we can do with that. So I wouldn't shift the edge this much. I would probably shift it only about -4 just to get rid of any color fringing that we have going on. We're gonna leave this panel and then jump over to our left hand side where we have some tools. We can add more to our selection with using the Quick Select tool. We have the Refine Edge tool, which is a brush-based tool that we can pass over our edges to refine them. And then we have our brush tool, so you can fine-tune selection by brushing over areas that you want to remove. We also have the object selection tool again, we have a lasso tool, we have our hand tool, and we can zoom in and out. We also have this refine hair function that is basically kind of an auto function to look at hair. So with this it'll work a little bit, but really what's gonna kind of bring back our fur is by refining our edge. So right now I am selected on the refine edge brush tool. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. And then I'm just going to brush the edges, the areas that I want Photoshop to take a look at one more time. And see, sometimes it'll pick up the color from here and say, oh, that color's here too, and bring it into our selection. So I am going to quickly undo that and then go closer to my edge. So you really just want to bring in this brush to the areas that you know Photoshop can pick up. So I'm just making some quick brush strokes here to bring back some of this. And I can even look at my brush tool here too, just to see, and then hit it with our refine edge tool and bring back most of that hair. We can also look at the underside here a little bit and bring back some of that hair. But with fine hair, it really depends on how much data you have in your images. So shooting in RAW is always best for refined edges. So we're going to take a quick look at the ears as well. Just a quick hit right here just to see if we bring anything back, but it looks like here we're pretty solid. And then lastly, we are able to do a couple of things. With color casting such as this, it is going to be very hard for decontaminate colors to make any changes, but on hair and portraits it is fantastic. I don't recommend leaving it at 100%. Definitely pull it back until the colors look very good. If not, you get some weird funky edges. And then you will have the ability to output your selection. So we can output it to a selection, a layer mask, a new layer, and a new layer mask, a new document, or a new document with a layer mask. I typically use the new layer with a layer mask because it leaves my information intact, and therefore if I want to make changes, I can make changes to my mask and bring back other items in this image. I hope this helps in making your selections in the future, and I will see you in the next video.